In a heart-wrenching and shocking incident, Jessica McCarty, a 33-year-old resident of Palm Bay, Florida, has confessed to the unimaginable crime of taking the lives of her 3 young children. This devastating event has left the community in disbelief and has raised profound questions about the depths of human tragedy and the importance of mental health awareness. Today, we delve into this harrowing story, attempting to comprehend the unthinkable actions of a mother and the profound impact it has had on those around her. In the crowded city of Palm Bay, Florida, there was a family of 5. Jessica McCarty, who was 33 years old, lived there with her children from a previous relationship, 7-year-old Lacey McCarty and 6-year-old Philip McCarty. Jessica's boyfriend, Christopher Swiss, also lived with them, along with their 5-month-old son, Christopher. Jessica and Chris started dating more than 2 years ago, after Jessica separated from her husband, Philip McCarty, in 2012. They had been living in the Kenmore Street neighborhood for only 8 months. They enjoyed the friendly community, and neighbors often saw Jessica taking walks with her children. Jessica had recently become a stay-at-home mom after working in the medical field, while Chris worked as a quality assurance manager at a home inspection company. He struggled with post-traumatic stress disorder after his military service, which made it difficult for him to drive. However, Jessica gladly took on the responsibility of driving the family around. On the surface, the family appeared happy, but no one knew about the twisted reality hidden behind closed doors. On a typical Friday morning, March 20th, 2015, the family woke up around 6:40 a.m. Lacey and Philip were excited because it was their last day of school before spring break. They had plans for a beach vacation with their grandparents. Jessica had a sleepless night with the baby, but made sure everyone was ready to leave by 7:45 a.m. She first drove Lacey and Philip to Discovery Elementary School and then dropped Christopher off at his workplace. Later, her mother, Patricia Knoll, came over to spend time with the baby and his grandmother, while Jessica completed an online application for food stamps. A few hours later, her mother left, and Jessica went about her usual chores. However, there was something on her to-do list that nobody could have anticipated. It was something that cast a dark cloud over the once cheerful community. It all started with a phone call from Jessica to Christopher at 5:53 p.m. Chris answered Jessica's call, but what she said was not a typical conversation starter. In a chilling voice, she told him that the kids were dead. Chris couldn't believe what he was hearing and thought she must be lying. He hung up on her. However, 2 minutes later, Chris became convinced that something truly awful had happened. Jessica sent him a picture of their kitchen floor stained with blood. Little did he know that this was just a glimpse of the unimaginable horror that had occurred inside their home. Chris's mother drives them urgently to his home at around 6 p.m. Jessica also calls 911 and says she has a gun, warning that she's not afraid to use it. She chillingly tells the dispatcher that it's too late, as something terrible has already happened to her 3 children. When Chris arrives, he immediately goes inside and finds a bloody Jessica in the living room holding a knife. He quickly takes the knife away and asks where the children are. Before she can answer, Chris becomes overwhelmed with fear as he sees Philip's body covered by a blanket. Chris searches the house for his child and sadly finds 5-month-old Christopher in a similar terrible state, lying on the left side of the master bed with a blanket covering him. There's also a pink charging cord wrapped around his neck. Next to him is 7-year-old Lacey, who appears to have been submerged in water, as her entire body is covered, and her blue lips and pale skin suggest she may have been drowned. Although unconscious, the children are barely alive. In a state of panic, Chris removes the cord from his baby's neck and takes him outside to perform CPR. He calls 911 again to inform them of this heartbreaking situation. It doesn't take long for the police to arrive, and a distraught Jessica is the first person they encounter. Jessica not only has a kitchen knife in her hand, but she also has a second one hidden in her waistband. The police use a special gun that shoots beanbags to control her and take away the knives. Outside, the authorities try to revive Chris's baby son. Jessica and her children were quickly taken to the hospital. 2 children were dead. Baby Christopher was the only child who was still fighting for his life. The terrible destruction caused a simple but important question. How could a parent harm their own children? Jessica, who was seen as a loving mother by her family and friends, had a hidden, darker side that no one noticed until it was too late. Jessica was dealing with her struggles caused by a difficult past, as mentioned in official police documents. Jessica has a history of using drugs and has gotten into trouble with the law because of it. This is something that can happen to people with a condition called borderline personality disorder because they tend to act without thinking and make impulsive decisions. Jessica was eventually sent to a mental health agency called Circle of Care. But during the investigation, authorities discovered that Jessica might have had disturbing thoughts of wanting to harm other people for a long time. Jessica couldn't give any helpful information during the interview. The next day, on March 22nd, a 5-month-old baby named Christopher was found dead at 7:12 p.m. Jessica was dealing with postpartum depression after giving birth to their child Christopher, and it was weighing heavily on her every day. Jessica couldn't recognize herself anymore. In a very shocking and heartbreaking letter that her mother left behind, she directly writes to the people she loves the most. In the letter, Jessica also writes a part specifically for Chris. She tells him that she loves him more than anything and can't imagine her life without him. She thinks he was a good dad to Christopher and asks him to keep his memory alive. She continues writing with chilling words, saying that she finally believes Chris when he says she's not good enough. She wants him to remember all the horrible and disrespectful things he said, which hurt her deeply. Towards the end of the letter, Jessica expresses her feelings of worthlessness and how she can't imagine living without her children. She also feels like her whole family is falling apart, and it breaks her heart. She hopes to see Chris and the kids in the afterlife if she gets there, and she wishes them good luck. She blames Chris for destroying their family. In December 2015, Jessica admitted that she was guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder. She avoided the death penalty but will spend the rest of her life in prison. To this day, nobody knows why she committed such a horrific crime. As we come to the end of this distressing account, we are left pondering the depths of human tragedy and the profound impact it can have on a community. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Join us next time as we uncover more riveting stories that remind us of the power of resilience and the relentless pursuit of truth. Until then, stay curious and never stop seeking answers.